Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Gonna try this again. I tried to get on about the last 15 minutes, man. It kept bumping me off, so we'll see how long I stay on this time. But I just seen an interesting article. Joseph Parker saying that he would love to welcome Alexander Usyk into the heavyweight division. Now, these guys' names have been linked together and, rumor um, shit from last year, the ending of last year, beginning of this year. I remember there was articles like in January of this year, November of, just rumors going around of these two, possibly fighting or trying to fight. All right. Um, what's good, King Strick? What's good, man? I see you got the Knicks as your picture. What do you think about that pick last night? What do you think about RJ Barrett? You think he's the star that the Knicks been missing for decades? I know they got guys like Carmelo and Amar, Stoudemire, but I'm talking about somebody that's gonna bring them up. It's got a funny text message from my wife. But where was I at? Yeah, this gonna be a superstar for him. You say RJ Barrett got next. Well, he loves to score, so you want your star to be able to fill it up. You know what I mean? We'll see. Can't wait for the NBA Summer League. Get to watch this rookie class in action. Let's get to this boxing talk, man. I should do more basketball, or should start to do some basketball videos. But let's get to this boxing. All right, now this article was a boxing scene. I'll leave a link to this article after this live is over. I'll put it down there in the comment section. You can click it, read it. Come to your own surmise about it. But now I like this matchup. Just let me say that. I know Usyk right now, in May, he had pulled out his fight against Carlos Takam, citing a arm injury. And what I'm hearing is he could be due back in the ring in September. That's what was said in May when he pulled out of that fight the beginning of May. All right, the Takam fight. Right now on my top 25, I have Parker at number 7. I have Takam at 23 and Chisora at 15. The reason I bring up Chisora and Takam guys like that, because those are guys that I think uh, a group of guys that could possibly get a fight with Usyk, especially if Chisora wins his fight against Arthur Spilka. And it's funny because Spilka at times can show some of the movements that a guy like Usyk will use in his fights. Now I know, Spilka lost to Wilder and he lost to Konaski, but he can show some similar movements sometimes. I'm not saying he's Usyk; he doesn't move exactly like him, but just that southpaw, about 6'3", 6'4", can move a little bit, can dart in and out, things like that. But then Usyk has a different dynamic to his game than Spilka. But when I bring up guys, now there are a lot of guys at heavyweight that I think that Usyk can beat. That's why I'm intrigued by his move um, to want to go to heavyweight. And I remember the first um, I put out a video in the summer of I want to say 2017, where Usyk was talking about his plan to go to heavyweight. This one he was still a cruiser, and some people kind of scoffing at the idea, and I'm sitting there like I remember the first video I did on Usyk. I did it as a heavyweight prospect watch video because I knew in like 2016, 2015, because I knew sooner or later this dude would be heavyweight. Just how I seen him dominate super heavyweights in the was that the World Series of Boxing. I mean, he schooled Joyce and Junior Fa, guys like that. I asked Junior Fa who's the toughest guy he's been in the ring with, and before the question can even marinate, he said Usyk right off the top. And this is somebody that fought Joseph Parker 4 times in the amateurs, and has fought some of the best super heavyweight level guys when he was an amateur coming up. All right. Now, with all that said, though, and it's ironic that Fa picks Usyk over Parker, but it's ironic though because when there's a guy that I think that can beat Usyk, the first guy that always come to my mind is Joseph Parker. That's why I have to do this video because it's like, man, just seeing that headline right on boxing scene was like, damn, Parker's the dude that I think style is all wrong for Usyk, man. Yes, I think Usyk can beat some heavyweights. I think I would really favor him in the, like the pressure fighter guys. Because I think he can set traps. He can let them just walk themselves into punches, especially flurries and combinations, because we know a lot of these guys like to head hunt and they like to throw the 1-2, the 1-2-3. You know what I mean? So in a situation like that, I would favor Usyk in a lot of those type of fights, like against a Konowski, like a Derek Chisora, um, Joe Joyce. There's a lot of dudes I would favor Usyk against. Uh, some of the taller guys that I would not favor him against would be guys like Wilder and Fury. Fury just we know about Fury style. It's just it's all wrong for a lot of people, especially if you're not a type of person who likes to go to the body and you throw a lot of your combinations upstairs, or you like to head hunt a lot. It's gonna be very difficult to beat a guy like that, to be a guy like Tyson Fury. Plus, he has quick punches and he's tough and he's hard to get out of there. Uh, Wilder, we know, likes to keep the range. You know he has the right hand. It's predictable. We all know it, but it lands so quick and it comes out of nowhere sometimes. It leaves his opponents at a disadvantage because, yeah, you know what's coming. Be prepared for it, right? Yeah, that sounds easy. It sounds easy. That's why everybody hits the damn floor. You know what I mean? Because it sounds easy, but you never know when it's coming because he delivers it quick and he can land it literally standing across the ring, and he can get to the center of the ring in one big ass step. You know what I mean? Oh, catch him on his way in. Yeah, but it's so fast though. Um, so I think he'll have problems with those type of guys. I don't think he'd be every heavyweight, but I will favor him in some fights. I'll go on and on. But the reason why I favor now, let me get to the reason why I favor Parker against him. Before I get to that, let me say what's up to everybody that joined in. Lawrence Williams was good. Prophet, what's up? Uh, Devin St. Clair, he thinks that it'd be a good fight. He feels Usyk would win. Lawrence Williams says if Parker fights aggressive like he did in the Flores fight, he'd be a problem for Usyk. I'm gonna get to that. For BC says Usyk versus Parker, it's a quality fight. Probably not a wise move for Parker though, since he's coming off 2 losses. Well, he'll definitely pick up a win at the end of this month, or yeah, next week when he fights Alex Leopai. Um, you know what I mean? Then he beat Flores, you know what I mean? So he won't just be coming in off just 2 losses, you know what I mean? Fred, cold turkey coming right in. He will have some training camps under his belt and 2 victories. PC Jacob says, good style matchup, technical fight, both in Matchroom 2. Yeah, should be an easy fight to make. October 4th, what's up? He says, Usyk Parker sounds like a class match. In the ring, who has what advantages and disadvantages in your opinion between the two, like who has the better power, footwork, hand speed, etc. I'm going to get to that. P Money says, yeah, you should, Mr. Box today too. Blazers got a nice player, Nasir Little. I can't wait till Summer League. Parker versus Usyk is a good fight. Usyk could beat Parker, but I see Parker winning too. First, let me get to Nasir Little. Really good player, man. Played at North Carolina. Um, when I seen him and Zion Williamson coming up in the AAU circuit, it always seems like he was a tough style matchup on the basketball court for Zion. I'll say that first. He's a big dude that can shoot and he's super athletic and he can run rim to rim. He can defend at the college level and at the high school level. So yeah, definitely want to see how he develops as a pro. But the kid has some potential, so we will see. All right, got bumped off. We back, but Fiddleback X says Usyk did good against Junior Five in the world. I think you put World Boxing Super Series, but you mean in the World Series of Boxing. He says though Fa isn't quite the same as Parker. Well, shit, at the amateur level they were. You know what I mean? They went 2-2 against each other. But yeah, you said not the same. So you probably mean just they're different styles, different ways of fighting. Or you know what I mean? Unbiased heavyweight rankings and news. He says Bo dropped to 44th. He's going to be a monster in Denver. Still stuck on that top 3 player in draft easy. Yeah, man. Especially in like a lot of the mock drafts, he was like a top 15 pick. So I'm not sure. There got to be, look, man, when something like that happens, there's something that we probably don't know as a public, as far as probably some type, and I'm not wishing this on the young man, but maybe there might be a health issue that, was never really revealed. I'm just giving examples of things that will drop a guy, or maybe he had Some workouts that they seen was like, oh no, we seen him work out with some of the other guys, and he wasn't. It didn't look right. But at the same time, he's been working out around some, especially some of these guys that were first year players in the AAU circuit. And every time I seen clips, he was always dominating. So again, maybe it's who knows, man. So that's just speculation. I'm not saying that that's put out there, but usually in draft situations in sports, when guys that are looked at as up there, when they start dropping, there's something behind the scenes. Usually, my man, Blood Boxing, what's good, bro? He says the king of heavyweight boxing talk. All right, let me get to it now. Um, this is why before this article even came out today, why when I think of Usyk's moves to heavyweight, the number one guy who he shouldn't fight that I think would give him problems off the top is Joseph Parker. And this is why, because Parker is around the same dimensions, around the same height, the same reach, give or take. And I think he's naturally a 15 to 20 pound heavier person. All right. Hand speed, he either has better or equal to, in my opinion. I think he's a better inside fighter. I think he punches harder. Their foot movement, to contrary belief, I think he can match Usyk. Probably not the same exact movements and rhythms because he fights in his own little movements and rhythms. But as far as if Parker needs to close in or catch up to him defensively, I think he has the foot speed to do it. If Parker needs to move and evade Usyk at times, if Usyk wants to be the aggressor, I don't see Parker backing up, but against Usyk, but I think he could do it. He's very fluid. Joseph Parker is probably one of the most fluid fighters in at heavyweight. Doesn't mean he's the best, but he's fluid. You look at his hands, you look at his feet, you can say, okay, this kid's been boxing for a while, and or he's just naturally gifted to move like a fighter, especially a guy that likes to be elusive and can outbox in that movement. I like Parker more when it's just sometimes he'll be like an aggressive bulldog in his fights, like against Flores and Dimitrenko, and then sometimes he'll opt to just outbox and move around a little bit. You could say, hey, that's versatility. Yeah, but sometimes I think he needs to be more aggressive, like the way he was against Dillian White. And he said going in that fight, I'm gonna be more aggressive. A lot of people didn't believe him because he's so soft spoken. So when he does say it, it doesn't come off. It just comes off as like, I guess we'll see. He didn't really sell it that well. You know what I mean? But he did go in there and he was aggressive. And he did. Look, I don't like to go on ifs and all that, but if there's about 30 more seconds left, he would have stopped Dillian White. Now I know we can throw if in any fight from any decade, so that's why I don't like using it. But Dillian White, what I'm saying is Dillian White was out in his feet. Well Parker looked like he could have won another round, But that's neither here nor there. Um, but yeah, I think he can match him in those type of fighting movements and rhythms. Breedis was able to do it. That's why going into the fight with Usyk and Breedis, the guys who I thought were the top two cruiserweights going into that tournament, that cruiserweight tournament. I thought they were the top two cruiserweights. So when they had a tough fight like that, and not only do I think they're the top two cruiserweights, I knew that their styles would mesh well because they can, the rhythm that Usyk fights, and if you can match his rhythm, you can give him problems. There's other ways to give him problems too, but especially like that. I'm not saying that's the only way to beat him, but especially in that scenario. Because he's used to being the abnormal guy, right? Just the speed, the quickness. That's why he was dominating the guys in the World Series of boxing when he competed at super heavyweight, when he was destroying Joyce and he was beating up Junior Fa because his speed. They're throwing one punch, whoop, he ducks it, slips, goes either left or right, 3-4 punch combination. And then he moves again, slips again, a quick 1-2-3, and then slips out. I mean, that they couldn't keep up with it. And one thing Parker will do, and I think he goes away from sometime, which I don't understand because he really used to do it coming up early, is going to the body and then finishing upstairs. Then sometimes he'll turn into like this just head hunting outboxer guy. Parker does, you know what I mean? And nah, I don't. First of all, he doesn't even really have the reach like that to really. You need. I mean, timing is everything. Timing is everything, but not all the time, man. Uh, you got to. Sometimes your reach don't look right trying to do that against guys with longer reaches when you're trying to be the outboxer guy. with a short reach. So especially when you're trying to flick the jab from the hip, you know what I mean? It's just nah, it's not gonna work all the time. I like Parker when he's more aggressive, man. I wish the ref again, but if that referee would have let Parker and AJ actually work on the inside instead of breaking them every time like the shit was illegal, uh, you know, maybe AJ was able to have more opportunities at landing an uppercut. Although the ones that he were throwing, Parker was getting out of the way of. But let's say had he had the opportunity to work on the inside more, he would have had a chance to throw more uppercuts. Maybe he lands one and knocks Parker out. Maybe Parker catches AJ on the inside with a flurry and drops him. We never got to see it, so it is what it is. But um, I don't see Usyk out fighting him, and I do think that Parker will catch up to him, make him stop in his tracks either against the ropes or some points in the fight, and make him fight. Usyk will fight you now. He just isn't this just complete just outboxer guy. He likes to use angles, but he's still there to throw punches though. But if you go high guard and try to just you're gonna just wait the storm out and then come out of your high guard trying to throw, you'll have trouble. Guys like Marco Huck tried that shit. Hunter in their fight was trying it to some degree. And this is a fight I also think Usyk would want to take because based up until now, when it comes to his amateur pedigree and things like that, he was winning Olympic games and always competing in the high profile tournaments. Turn pro, people like to use, we're in the era now where, fans just, they're so, they like to say how much a guy accomplished and how, in so little fights and things like that. Well, he's another guy that you can say accomplished a lot in so little fights. The guy was what, 12, 13, 14, 13 and 0, whatever, 15 and 0 when he competed in the cruiserweight tournament and became undisputed. I think he's like 15 or 16 and 0, but um, so he accomplished undisputed in so many little fights. So whenever guys puts themselves in a tournament, man, that I give them respect for that because you can't control what happens. You don't know who you're. Well, you know that who the next fight is ahead of your fight, who your opponent will be, but you can't fight the loser because you know how shit is. And without a tournament, guys will go fight the losers of fights. You know what I mean? So you got to fight the winner. You can't dictate this. You can't dictate. It's just I like tournaments. So he competed in the tournament, a high profile tournament with the best cruisers. He won it. He was able to beat Tony Bellew, who was on his high after beating David Hay, who was he was the WBC cruiserweight champion. Then they made him champion emeritus, and then Breedis was able to pick up the title. So Tony Bellew came on down, like the price was right. Come on down, come on back down, and he went in here and got whooped by Usyk. You know what I mean? Usyk was able to beat Michael Hunter in a fight that a lot of people were doubting Michael Hunter. He lost the fight, but it's funny that his name is ringing bells now again. But even going to that fight, I'm like, hey man, Michael Hunter's a pretty good fighter. Actually, he's another one just like Usyk that I did a heavyweight prospect video on because why? I knew there'll be heavyweight one day back in 2015, 2016 when I made those videos. Why? How did I know that? Because those guys competed at super heavyweight a lot in the amateurs. They were just able to make cruiserweight also, which is heavyweight in the amateurs. But once you see stuff like that, guys get older, they get more mature, they usually just move up anyways. All right. So it's not, I mean, boxing 101. Now you see Gassiev's up there. Gassiev's a guy that spent a lot of time in Wilder camps and Chris Arioli sparred Chris Ariola. I actually heard Chris Ariola say in sparring, and for him throughout his career, he said Gassiev punches the hardest. That's what Chris Ariola said. So I want to see what Gassiev does too, with his move. He got tough Joey Dweco. So if Gassiev goes in there and tries to huff and puff and blow the house down, and that shit doesn't work in the first 3, 4 rounds, it's gonna be interesting to see how that fight pans out. But I think if he stays patient, stays behind his power, mix in body shots, and keep his damn head offline and don't just be a straight up and down target, he may be able to overwhelm Joey. But Joey's a tough motherfucker, man. So, all right, let me get back to this chat. Give me a second. We'll be out there in a second. Let me see here. All right, crazy D3 says Parker's quick hands would give Usyk problems, but could he adjust to Usyk's angles. Yeah, I think he'll be able to adjust to him, bro, by ripping to the body, and he has quick enough feet to where he can step to Usyk. Parker does have quick, nimble feet, in my opinion, at least. I'm actually sitting back watching this Frank Bruno, Frank Bruno and Tim Witherspoon fight, right? Man, Larry Merchant's just the king shit talker, man. Like worried about physiques. Hey, y'all, even back then in the 80s, man, they were worrying about physiques. He in there, oh, Tim Witherspoon's a butterball. And man, shut your garbage pill face ass up, man. I used to hate Larry Merchant. Ooh. Hey, Frank went to do it years later, man, but yeah, this the round he got stopped, man. In the 11th. Man, Tim Witherspoon, just the way he used to trash talk and even the way he looks a little bit. And I know everybody ain't feeling this dude right now, but he reminds me of Jarrell Miller, man. Like them dudes remind me of each other. But yeah, even I was watching the lead up to this fight, and Tim Witherspoon was playing it up to their press over there. You know what I mean, talking shit and dancing around and acting crazy, and you could just tell they were looking like, what nerve of him? You know what I mean? That's how they were looking at him. But Tim Witherspoon, busted eye and all. All right, let me get back to this, man. Let me get back. Let me get back. Let me find where I was at. All right. Lamont says, salute Mr. Boxing. I like this matchup. I like it too, man. James come on says, Mr. Boxer today, massive respect from London, UK. Absolutely love your content. Keep up the good work. Slightly off topic, but who wins between Roy Tiger Williams and uh, Mike Hunter Sr. over 12? Ooh, that's a good fight, man. Williams, the bigger fighter, authoritative jab, tough, hard to knock out, hard to stop. Angry son of a bitch because the way he was getting dealt with his promoters. So he always fought with a you know what I mean, that on his shoulders. So that's a, you know what I mean, you in there with somebody 6'5", 230 pounds is pissed off all the time. Um, Michael Hunter Sr., man, quick hands. I think he could probably force a high paced fight. Maybe he can tire Williams out. Hmm. I'm gonna go with Williams. Nah, no, no, no. I'm gonna go with Hunter in that fight. I think he'll pull the upset. I think his awkwardness, being able to fight at a fast pace, good chin as well. I'll go with Hunter Sr. in that fight. J Jerk, James Coleman, what's good, bro? Blood Boxing says this is a damn good fight, brother. I think it's a good fight too, man. Yeah, y'all go and hit that like button, man. Y'all up in here, as my man Black Fight Fan TV would say, y'all crusty face holds up here looking at me. You hitting the like button. Shouts out to Black Fight Fan TV, man. And 78 Sports, Trail Boxing Talk. Shouts out to them brothers, man. Let's see here. Devin Sinclair says Herkovic would beat Parker right now. In my opinion, he's the dark horse in the division. Hey, to tell you the truth, Devin Sinclair, I don't even think he's the dark horse, man. I think he's a clear threat. Clear now. Well, I know what you're coming from as far as dark horse, because even though people probably mention his name, a lot of people really probably aren't aware of him. But I'm one of the people that is. You know what I mean? I bring this up a lot, but I only bring it up just to let you guys know that I'm not just saying this shit out the blue because it sounds cool or because he's with Matchroom or whatever like that. I did a video day after Christmas 2015 where I said if this dude turns pro, because at that time I didn't know if he was going to turn pro after the 2016 Olympics. You know what I mean? So day after Christmas 2015, I came up with a video saying next great American, or I'm sorry, next great heavyweight. You know what I mean? So, and it was all just contingent on if he was going to turn pro. Because a lot of those guys in those other countries, man, they're very loyal to their amateur system. Sometimes it's for political reasons why they don't turn pro, but especially if they're Olympians and amateur world champions and stuff like that. They're very popular over there in their country, and their amateur system takes care of them to some degree, at least for their living and things of that nature. But with that said, though, coming out of Croatia, I didn't know if he was going to turn pro. I would like to see him fight Petar Malas, who is another uh, Croatian fighter. He's undefeated. He's beat Francisco Pianata, and I think he beat Kevin Johnson as well. I like to see them get it on. They're around. I think Herkovic maybe has like. I think they're around the same age actually. And I remember seeing an article where Malas was saying that one day that they're going to have to fight. So I love to see them fight. They're around about the same height, same weight. I would like to see them clean that up first. But yeah, Herkovic. Now the reason why I was saying that I think he could be the next great heavyweight or heavyweight title holder if he was to turn pro back in 2015 is because his size. He has good size. He has decent weight, and he's a quick fighter, and he can get off punches and combinations. He throws his punches kind of like in that Vitaly Klitschko-esque manner, where he kind of is stiff and upright, but he can lean back pretty quickly, and his feet are pretty good going backwards and going side to side. Um, on the inside, he seems as if he has the art and the science down of tying up. That he's not going to just stand there and get discombobulated. As soon as he get punched with a short inside shot, he just starts scrambling. Remember how Vladimir Klitschko used to do it? If Vladimir couldn't get that complete, that's why he learned how to get that complete tight Emmanuel Stewart taught vice grip on dudes on the inside. Because whenever he got hit with short shots on the inside, when guys they're clenching each other's arms, they got the free arm to work, and the guy land a little short chipper on you, he'll get hit with one of those, and his legs start scrambling, and he'll start trying to grab the other guy with his off arm all crazy. Just looks just scrambled in there. Herkovic seems as if he has that down, but we'll see when he's in there against a guy that presents more of a threat on the inside, and it's harder to wrap him up, like a Tresura or Konowski or anybody that fights in that bulldog type of manner. You know what I mean? But he went there and took care of Mir Mansour. I know Mir Mansour at this stage of his career is getting pretty much beat by all the up and coming guys at this stage. He took care of that. He was able to fought Kevin Johnson as well. Um, so he's taking care of all the journeyman level guys, man. But I think he has the potential, and I think he has a skill set. He's been in a whole bunch. This dude was in Klitschko camps when he was 19, 20 years old. So Klitschko camps is nothing for him. I actually put up a clip of him, or I put up the thumbnail, but I left the clip there as well when he was sparring Deontay Wilder back in 2013. He was about 20 years old when he was doing that. Now Wilder wasn't the fighter he is today, neither. So let's not take it there. But that was still Wilder 2013, the Wilder that made Sergey Liakovic body, shake all over the ground, and that was the Deontay Wilder that beat Ollie Harrison and damn near knocked Ollie Harrison out with just the wind of his punches, because that's when Wilder was winging a lot of wild shots after he got Harrison hurt, and he was missing them, but it was like the wind was not, just the wind of the punches was added to Harrison going down. But yeah, that was around that time. Who else did he beat around that time? Liakovic, Harrison, somebody else. There was somebody else who he sparked out too, Wilder, around that time. So that was still a dangerous Wilder. You know what I mean? So I just like what I see. I know I went kind of long on that one, man. But the reason why I gave Herkovic his props right there is because he's somebody that I've been seeing for about 4 years now, man. So I'm not surprised at all. And I would rate him higher than F.A. Jack, but I think he just moves his head better. That's something these dudes going to have to come equipped with, is being able to move your head. That style will get you so far, but once you start standing up there just getting tagged, man, it's going to start falling apart. Lope Dog says that this is official. Nah, bro, it's just Parker has a fight coming up next week against Alex Leopai. Usyk isn't coming back. The last I heard was like in September. Parker just came out today. There was an interview with him. It was on Boxing Scene. I read the article. It was from an interview, and he said that he would love to welcome Usyk into the heavyweight division. All right, so I'm just talking about just a possibility. Clive Boyd says, "Hey, Mr. Boxing, like, thumbs up. Appreciate that, man." Teddy B says, "I actually like this. It's kind of a bad matchup for Usyk." Thank, oh, you, I know him way back in the comments, but yeah, man. Whenever I heard about Usyk moving up, the first guy I thought about was like, well, she better probably stay away from Parker. First names people wanted to throw out was Joshua, Wilder, Fury, as far as guys that he would have problems with. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I understand why people were saying those guys, but he better stay away from Parker. You know what I mean? Because stylistically, this is not good. We'll get to the super chat really quick. Unrivaled boxing talk and news. I appreciate the super chat, brother. He says, I like to see Parker versus Hunter, Usyk versus Takum, and the winners fight each other in the same, the losers piece from Ireland. Well, first of all, I appreciate that super chat. And as far as Parker versus Hunter, sign me up. Usyk versus Takum, I'm not mad with that one either for Usyk's first fight at heavyweight. You know what I mean? Because I know Usyk, based on his um, track record, will give you competitive fights, and he wants to fight the best guys. So just your very first fight, I don't mind if it's Takum shit. When Evander Holyfield, uh, decided to come up to heavyweight, he fought guys that were on that Takum level. I have Takum at number 23 in my personal heavyweight rankings. So to fight a top 25 guy coming up from cruiser, I'm not mad with that fight. Now I don't want your next fight to be against the number 20 guy. And no, let's after that, okay, cool. Then let's get into the overall, not a sanctioning body's top 15, but like in an overall grand scheme of things, let's get into that top 15, top 10 type of challenges. You know what I mean? I have Chisora number 15 for the record, and I have Parker number 7 for the record on my top 25 heavyweight list. Yeah, Blood, I totally agree, man. I see you going back and forth with Clive Boyce, and you brought up something that I was saying yesterday. Well, both of us, and you probably been saying it longer than me, that we've been saying for years here, man. We need the contenders. Okay, let me read what you wrote to him. You said, Clive, you are correct. Plus, we need some guys to solidify themselves as ranked opponents. You're right. We all, people always want to go to who the title shot. Okay, well, first of all, man, let's just, like you said, let's solidify who are just the top contenders. I understand how boxing is ran. That there's 4 sanctioning bodies, and every sanctioning body has their set of top 50. Yeah, I know that. You know what I mean? We all know that, okay? But come on, man, just the concept of this, even being a fan for going on 3.5 decades of this sport, I'm still just in awe, man. And I know that the WBO was added in 2007, the IBF was added in the early 80s. I understand all that, but it's just the fact that we're having 4 number 1 contenders. That just sounds crazy to me. The number 1 contender should be across the board. The same. So if Dillian White, I'm just using an example. If Dillian White's the number 1 contender WBC, he should be the number 1 contender for the WBC, WBO, IBF, WBA. The number 2 guy, I think they should all be the same across the board. Keep your sanctioning body, the prestige of your sanctioning body, but to me, man, it should be at least the top 10. Then yeah, the top 10 should be the same. Then maybe you can scramble. Maybe the sanctioning body can make votes on who they think is the 11 through 15 or something. But the top 10 should be the same. Use the parity to its advantage. The WBO, now I can go through all the sanctioning bodies, but the WBO is really known for all the sanctioning bodies are known for doing different things. Some people think the IBF is the best because the way they make their mandatory guy get his title shot in due time, things like that. The WBO have a tendency of ranking uh, uh, prospects. Like there was 1 month of prior that I'm looking through, and there's good, decent prospect names that'll make for some good fights, to tell you the truth. But it was like Tyrone Spong, Zhili Zhang, Ali Demarizen, who's getting ready to fight F.A. Jagba. It's gonna be a good fight. Who else did I see up in there? I mean, it was like literally like seven prospects. Tom Schwartz was number two. I'm just like, what is this? Junior Fa. Again, good prospect level names. I have nothing against those fellas, but what? Come on, man. And then a random guy like Kairo Tui Fujimoto. Like, what? I mean, we go and I go through every sanctioning body, you know what I mean? So it's not just them. I'm just using them as the example. Uh, but the WBA was always killing me with this Freza Kendo ranking. Dude, they had a fight in 5 years and he's number two. And I understand, no, Mr. Boxing, he took him to court. Remember after the Chagaya fight? Yeah, I understand that, but damn, man, like it just looks bogus. Guillermo Jones, I know Guillermo Jones, the old lion, was a good cruiserweight champion for the WBC, but come on, bro. We know Guillermo Jones is not a top 15 heavyweight. BJ Flores was number five one time. Then WBC just keeping Stavern up in the rankings, and we go on and on, man. We go on and on. But to me, we got to solidify at least who's the number one guy. So when the sanctioning bodies do have their, because to me, I sit back sometimes like, man, who is the number one contender overall? Is it Pulev? Is it Dillian White? Is it Luis Ortiz? I don't know who it is. I think we need to go by Mr. Boxing Today two's rankings. That's what I think. What y'all think, man? We need to go by my rankings. Yeah, yeah. Because I think my rankings are more efficient. I have a better eye. I watch all these dudes. I'm not the dude that says, I don't know who he is. Nah, I know who he is. I've seen him fight. Yep, it's me. Me. I've seen him fight. Wouldn't you rather go by somebody like me that actually takes the time out to watch these fights that nobody will give a fuck about? But you have dudes in suits just sitting behind the desk, just, oh, yep, he's number 13. Ain't even probably seen the fucking dudes fight. But they're getting money from promoters, so we know how that is to pay for the rankings. I guess I won't be bought, so they won't want to use mine anyways, right? But I think mines are more accurate. I do. Yep. I say so myself. I do. Let's get back to the chat. Loke Dog says Hunter has some success early with Usyk. Yeah, I think his movements was kind of making Usyk think a little bit like, damn, this motherfucker moves more awkward than me. You know what I mean? So we had to figure him out. Then once he did, he started to pepper him. He actually turned it up on him too. Kurt Sugar. Oh, okay. So I see my wrench thing did work. Bet. I figured out how to do it. I've been on here for damn near. I've been on fucking YouTube for 10 years and just the other day figured because it's harder on your phone, man. Like a lot of the options guys have behind their computer, you don't have those on the phone, so it's hard for me to find everything while I'm going live. And plus my lives are so just random. I don't even be thinking about it. I'm just my mind is geared on the topic that's on my mind at that time, and I just go live. And then when I go live, like, damn, I should have figured out how to do this, how to do that. None of these lives are ever planned. That's why my lives don't have hundreds and hundreds of people watching because I don't have a set time and it's never planned. You know what I mean? But there has been times I've been up to like 150, on a just random live. But it is what it is, man. The right people watch the video, so that's how I look at it. And I've got great numbers on thousands of videos over the last 10 years. So it's not about numbers with me, man. Just box and talk. And whoever watches it watches it. But the right people will. I know it. Like Kurt Anderson, Kurt Sugar. See, the right person's in here. Clyde Boyce is the right person in here. P Money, Loke Dog, all you guys are the right people in here. Blood Boxing, Unrivaled Boxing Talk. BFTB, what's good? I see BFTB in the house. Clyde Boyce says Frank Bruno had a really underrated jab, in my opinion. It was almost as good as Lennox Lewis jab. It was very authoritative. He pushed it out there. He pumped it. I even heard Daniel Dubois. I seen Dubois and Bruno holding the mitts. You know what I mean? just for some publicity. I get it, trying to hype the kid up or just hype their fight up between Gorman and Dubois, which I think is going to be a good domestic fight. I really recommend y'all to check that out, man. When they fight each other, Dubois and Gorman. I'm going to do another. I know I spoke about it, but I'm going to do another breakdown. Been watching a lot of Gorman and Dubois for the last week, but sometimes I have this knack to now watching Jerry Cote versus Frank Bruno. I have a knack sometimes. It just might be weird. This is the fight where Bruno knocked Cote down or out of the ring. They had to hold his head up. He got knocked out brutally, but to where I like to go back and watch other domestic level good fights from prospect level guys from that country. So right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm going watching Bruno his way of watching the fight with Bungner. Um, Even go back and rehash the Joshua and Dillian White fight. So I like these type of fights, man. Kind of looking at this fight as I'm talking, y'all, man. But let me get back to this. All right, so let me see. BFT. Okay, so Unrivaled Boxing Talking News says, "What up, Kurt Sugar?" BFTB says, "The heavyweight guy." I appreciate that, bro. BFTB says, "Love to see this fight." He also says, "What's up to the Godfather, Blood Boxing?" Curtis Anderson says, "At Rival Box Talking News, what's up?" Everybody show each other respect. My man Quest X Boxing in the building. He says, "What I miss Parker ready to KO Usyk?" I definitely think he beats him, bro, and he might stop him based on everything that I said prior. Unrivaled Box Talking News says he's chilling, man, watching Page versus Witherspoon for the vacant WBC title. That's a good fight to watch. Clyde Boyce says Dillian White was damn lucky in the last round against Parker. He was wobbling all over the place. Yes, he was. Unbiased heavyweight rankings and news says Efia Jagba and Daniel Dubois will also be champs, in my opinion. We will see. We will see. But two really good prospects, though. Um, Unrivaled Boxing Talking News says Herkovic versus Malas will be a good domestic clash to have take place. Yeah, and I was just talking about domestic fights in the UK. So yeah, Devin Sinclair says, "Do you think George Arias can still become a contender? I've been following since he turned pro, but until recently, he hasn't been active. He's a great athlete, but is a bit small and raw." Yeah, he is a shorter heavyweight. He's a compact guy. He has big shoulders. And I'm saying that to say this: when he gets on the inside, I think he'll have, if he can work on the inside, um, he has better chances in his fights. He has a high motor. I did see him struggle against Mario Heredia. But Heredia is one of those guys like a Kamil Sokolowski and those journeymen, um, Jamal Woods and guys like that, man, that'll give you a go for your money. Great, Jonathan Rice and people like that. But anyways, yeah, his thing is him being able to get past people jabs, and although he's a shorter guy that likes to work, he doesn't come across as like that thudding slugger like a Adam Kownacki. You know what I mean? Or Jarrell Miller, or he doesn't seem to pose that type of threat with his shorter demeanor and come forward type of style. All right. Now maybe he can get those workman-like performances where he just grinds out, 10 and 12 rounds decisions, but can he do it at that top 15-ish type of level? That remains to be seen. Clyde Boy says, "Will Dubois beat Gorman, Mr. Boxing?" I think Gorman will outbox him, but Dubois could nail him with one haymaker. I'm going to say that, bro. I'm going to save that. I'm going to save that. So I'm not going to forget that question because I got a video coming out. I'm literally trying to watch every fight and as much sparring footage as I possibly can. I've seen pretty much all their fights, but I'm trying to get them back fresh in my memory. And then I'm going to go right in. You know what I mean? So I'm going to save that. But when they're first being talked about, or when I first seen that they're kind of coming up together, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like at first, like over like a year and a half ago, somewhere in there, I was like, oh, Dubois. When they meet each other later on down, it's gonna be Dubois. But the more I see these guys and they're stepping up, fighting the Kevin Johnsons and just different journeymen and just different fights I'm seeing them in, and I'm seeing different things. Got a different opinion. Different opinion on how I think the fight will be fought. All right, so let's just put it like that. Crazy D3 says, should Parker change trainers before fighting Usyk? I don't think Kevin Barry is good in between rounds. A lot of people say they think Parker should change trainers, man. He just needs to make sure he can just keep Joseph Parker aggressive. Because I think Parker will listen to him, man. I think they have a type of relationship. If he told Parker to run through a brick wall, that he will at least try to do it. So I think he just needs to keep him aggressive. Plus, could a different set of eyes possibly help? Yeah, but I think he gets the best out of Parker. I just think sometimes, their game plan is the outbox sometimes. Devin Sinclair said, I'd like to see Joe Joyce versus Charles Martin next if they both win their next fights. Joyce and Herkovic are my dark horses, and it will be interesting to see how Joyce does against Martin. Yeah, man, if Joe Joyce go in there and gets it done against Jennings, and we know that Charles Martin should be able to beat Daniel March pretty easily. I wouldn't mind seeing them fight. I think that'd be a good one. BFTB boxing says that's why the rankings don't really matter. Yeah, you talking about they them rankings mean shit. Devin Sinclair says compare the performance against Kaunowski's. I'm not sure what you're talking about, bro. BFTB boxing says they make up anything they want and move people around how they want. Yes, yes they do. And it's so funny that Tom Schwartz got the shot at Fury because had people been listening to my videos, there was many. I always use Tom Schwartz as my example of ridiculous how ridiculous the ratings were for like the last 3 years because he's been in their top five for like the last 2 or 3 years. It's like I did and then people say because and look for the people that's going to say because Mr. Boxing he's their WBO international man stop. I don't care he has the WBO intercontinental international intergalactic like it doesn't matter man he's not a top three top he's not today, and he definitely wasn't one 3 years ago, 2 years ago. So he was always him and Freza Kendo were like the two rankings that I will always use as like the reason why I can't follow these rankings like that. Whenever you have a debate with somebody, the first thing they want to run to is well, so and so was rated, and it's like okay, but is he consensus though? Is he a consensus top 10 heavyweight or can? So I guess you can use that argument for different debates. That's why I want to put a close to them debates by just saying, look, man, let's go by consensus top 10 rankings. God of War says the four bodies should merge all together. Um, Clyde Boy says, I 100% agree. How the hell did Schwartz get to number 2 spot in the WBO? He fought tomato can, shaking my head. He's a dude that never even got a chance to fight some of the better up and coming guys in his own country. Like I still think him and Ajay Cabell should have fought, or he should have been matched up against Michio Wallace or Edmund Gerber, or maybe even got, step up and fight somebody tough like a Christian Hammer who's out there in Germany or something like that, man. But hey, there was opportunity there. And he came over here and had a nice vacation and took a lot of pictures, got paid, got a nice little tan, you know what I mean? And probably went shopping and kicked it and got the fight on an app. You know what I mean? And got a chance to hang around Tyson Fury. And I'm only saying this because that's how he looked. He looked like somebody that came over here and that's what he was on. You know what I mean? I'm just saying how it looked. You know what I mean? So yeah. Um P Money says I agree with Blood 110% right now. Rankings mean next to nothing. BFTB Boxing says I think the only way you should earn a higher ranking is by beating the guy ahead of you, plain and simple. I totally agree. And I also think like Man, I remember back at like reading articles from like the 60s and 70s and 80s and things like that. Guys would be proud of, now they all want to be a world champion, but there was pride taken in those rankings. You know what I mean? You hear nephews and grandchildren say, "Hey man, my father or my dad or my uncle was the number 4 rated heavyweight in the world." Like it meant something to be rated number 3, rated number 1, because they earned it a lot of the times in those days. I know the mafia used to be involved with boxing. Like I understand the different eras, but I'm saying for the most part though, it just seems as if even if there was some fuckery going on, you were still dealing with the real top 10. Whether the guy that was number 9 should have really been number 2, or but it was literally still the real top 10 though. You dig what I'm saying? So it was like more pride took in. Like a dude should have to earn number 1 and be proud of it and then go get his title shot. God should be proud to be ranked number 5, working his way up, trying to get to number 1 to get his title shot. It should mean something. It means nothing. It means nothing. Whenever you have a dude out there, man, that just wants to just is happy with just the claim of, and I like Tyson Fury. I think he's number 2. So I don't want, oh, you're just hating. How can I hate when I have somebody number 2 in the whole entire world in something? So cut that. But what I'm saying is he seems as if he's just happy with the claim of, hey, I'm the lineal champion. Now, whether whatever your opinion is on that lineal thing, that's fine. Whether you think it's broken or whether you think he is lineal. I'm not even here to argue that. It's just the fact that in his mind, the belts really don't mean anything. As of right now, that's what it seems like. Now, maybe in 2020, he'll fuck around, become undisputed champion. Who knows? But I'm saying as of right now, it just seems like, I'm lineal. When it just seemed more back in the day, people wanted them title belts, man. Those belts meant something. Ali had that belt, This is the belt that Joe Louis had. It's like nobody cares no more. Now it's like this is the belt Chigayev had. You know what I mean? Or and not to shit on Chigayev. It's just I don't know, man. Like it's the belt that the vacant belt that Martin had. It's like the prestige is gone. That's why I like Wilder having the WBC and making a long reign. So when the next person gets it, he got it from a long reigning champion, regardless of what you think of his skill set. Uh, I don't even care about that. I'm talking about just real straight up boxing talk right now. No troll talk. So when you get a belt from a long reigning champion, to me, that belt should mean something. Like when Marco Huck had that, was it the WBO cruiser? And I think he defended it like 13, 14 straight times in a row. It meant something to me when Glowacki was able to beat him. Speaking of Glowacki, they got to run that back, man. I like Marius Bridas. I think he's the best cruiserweight in the world, but they got to run that back. And I think Dorticos should want them to run that back. Shout out to my man, the OG Dwyer. I watched his video on it, and I pretty much was on one accord with what he thought about the fight. But back to this. To me, it meant something. Even AJ, when he was trying to get the train rolling and have multiple title defenses, he was in rhythm to start to make them mean something. Now, some people still don't think they meant shit because they were Tyson Fury's uh, back when he beat Vladimir, but then he went on a drug binge. So let's get back to making these titles mean something, man. But the rankings got to mean something too. Let me see here. Clive Boyd says Fury was levels above Schwartz. It was a total mismatch. Yes, it was. Wasn't I mean, if Fury, the only Fury that Schwartz should have been in there with trying to test his metal against is like Huey. No, not to shit on Huey, but to me, Tyson Fury is a lot better than his cousin right now. So maybe like a Huey Fury and Tom Schwartz is more realistic. And I would pick Huey Fury in that fight. But to me, that's more realistic. Trying to, hey, can I beat a guy like Huey Fury? 'Cause we damn sure you couldn't beat no Tyson Fury. Clyde Boyd says, I agree with you, Mr. Boxon. He believes that Dillian White is number one contender. BFTB says the 90s. He said the 90s out of 100. AZ says, depends on if they can buy you. Are you talking about the rankings? Um, then I just wouldn't do it. I mean, what's the purpose? I mean, then then they should just continue to put the rankings up because they're being bought. I want these rankings to really mean something, man. Unrivaled Boxing Talking News says our ranks have three fighters swap 1, 2 places. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, man, I think mines are pretty accurate. I know some people may have this guy here or this, but I think they're pretty accurate. A lot of one thing after doing the rankings that I did my top 25, and I literally did that, y'all, in like 2, 3 minutes. I just did a little group thing, or not group thing, but I grouped a whole bunch of. I had thoughts of some fighters, and I grouped them all together, and then I just started, and I came with like 40 right away. I wrote them down, and then I started just crossing dudes out. And the one fighter that I kind of questioned was Char, because I was like, man, he hasn't fought in a while, but based on styles, I think he's see, I like styles, man. And I think that him and well, I think the new kid from Germany kind of has his style a little bit, but he's better at it, is Ajay Cabello. And I think Char's still right there, and I still think he'll make it tough. Yes, I know he got knocked out by Marius Breeders. Marius Breeders is a bad dude, man. So it's not like, you know what I mean? Marius Breeders is a bad dude at cruiserweight, man. So it's not like he's some chump. You know what I mean? And shit, he got caught walking forward, and Brees was going on the back foot, and he got caught. You know what I mean? Um, but it's not like I have Char in the top 5, top 10, or nothing like that. You know what I mean? But I still think he's a top 25 ish type of dude. You know what I mean? So, but he's supposed to have a fight with Trevor Bryan, man, and be a good opportunity for Trevor Bryan to move up in the rankings. But he was the only guy where I looked at, was like, maybe I had him too high, you know. But rather than that, though, I think it's pretty solid. That's the only one that I wouldn't say I second guess. It was just kind of like, I'll roll with it. You know what I mean? Let me see here. BFTB says a fighter should get his ranking by okay. P Money says yes, indeed, family. Your ranking. Okay, I'm way behind. He says your ranking system would actually have credibility and accuracy. BFTB says ranking it any other way is all opinionated. Yeah, yeah. If they're not fighting the guys that are highly rated than them, or on at least guys that are either one spot above or one spot below, somewhere in there, man. But fighting a whole bunch of unranked fighters and just making us fans just strictly go off the eye test, you're leaving us in a quandary, man. Like that is tough to do, man. You're leaving us in a quandary. Like you can't just make us depend on just eye tests against journeymen. That's why when you guys ask me sometimes about fights, yes, I love the styles, but it's hard to really rate when guys are just blowing journeymen out in 1 and 2 rounds. Now, if you're blowing out other up and coming contenders or past title contenders in 1 or 2 rounds, then your pedigree is a little bit different, obviously. But when it's, and I ain't talking about like the tough, under the radar, make you go the full distance of that fight journeyman. I'm talking about the for real, when people like to use the term bum and tomato can, these would be the guys that would be the epitome of that label. And you guys know, so I'm talking about dudes that are like 3-50, been knocked out 27 times. You know what I mean? Those type of journeyman guys that, shouldn't be in the ring at all. Tall at all. You know what I mean? So it's hard sometimes to rate those guys, man. So you need these guys. What I'm saying is, in a nutshell, you need these guys to be fighting quality opposition, at least quality journeymen. And if you're in the top 10, fighting other guys that are rated along with you, so we can get a clear understanding. And then that way, the same top 10 won't sit there and just crushed away because it's the same damn top 10 and it's stagnant and it doesn't ever move. Once these guys start beating each other, they're going to get moved down the top 10 and be bumped out of the top 10. So that way, guys in that 11 through 20 can work their way up. That's where the parity comes in, because we're not keeping the same top 10 guys lose 2, 3, 4 times out of 4 or 5 fights and they're still top 10. And the guys that are rated number 9 and 10, they're not safe either because they should have to fight guys that are 12, 13, 14, and one away in as well. They're trying to elbow their way in the room too. Make this shit competitive, man. If you make it competitive, that's where the parity will come in. But you keep trying to make us believe that the same stale ass top 10 is going to stay the same forever, and it's not. Corey Lee boxing, what's good, man? Good to see Corey Lee in the building. Another banger. What's good? BFTB says they need to just stop the rankings right now. And in order to get any higher than who you are, you need to beat the guy ahead of you. I totally agree, man. What you saying, BFTB, right now, I totally agree with, man. But it just seems that, bro, that's too much like right. That's too much like the right thing, the most logical thing. You know what I mean? You would think logic would tell you if you're number one, you should have to fight number two. Once that's declared, the number one guy will obviously get his title shot. Then the number three and four guy, they should be fighting to replace. It the logic sounds great, but it's like this. We both know, you know what I mean. It's like that's not how it works, and the shit picks at me, man, because it's like that's how it should be ran. Like this isn't brain science. Because I think we're so used to following how traditional sports go. Like there's a playoff. If you win, you advance against the other winner in the other bracket. We're just used to just if you win this, you move on to this and you take on the winner of that. It's not you win. Boxing is like you win, you should take on the winner of the fight between two guys that are perceived to be right on the same level, but you don't really have to. You can let it marinate and you can go to the bottom of the barrel somewhere. It's like could you imagine watching the Super Bowl? And I know people, it's not the same. Nah, it's the same to me. It's the same to me. Can you imagine watching like the NFC Championship game? I'm just throwing teams out there. The fucking Eagles against my Vikings. All right, the Vikings win, they go to the Super Bowl, uh, and then instead of playing the winner of the Patriots and the Steelers, let's say the Patriots win and the Vikings say, nah, let's let that marinate till 2022. We'll take on the Steelers. I mean, they only lost by 3 points, man. They had a chance to win and missed a field goal, so they're still formidable. And then like that shit gets sold to us. Like you would be sitting here like, what? Now I understand. Yeah, it's not the same, Mr. Box, not the same sport. It's not, but it just gives me that mindset. And that's how boxing is ran, man. Main event boxing talk was good. BFTB says I'll do a video on rankings. Thanks for this video, King. Appreciate that, man. Whenever I can bounce an idea off and somebody can take it and run with it, cool, man. I'll definitely be watching that. I watch all of them anyway, so I'll definitely be tuning into that one as well. Let me see here. Corey Lee Boxer says White versus Rivas is a very underrated fight. Yeah, that's gonna be a good one, man. That's gonna be a goodie right there because you know what I mean. Dillian White gonna come out trying to be aggressive, and Rivas is you want to be aggressive against him. You better be careful because he can counter quick. He has a very good right hand. Um, he likes to take that little step back, and he can be patient as well. He's not just a sloppy, aggressive, loses his footing and footwork type of plotter, shorter heavyweight. The dude can box. He has good amateur background. He's beat guys like Andrew Ruiz and Kurat Pulev. He beat Pulev in the Olympics. Um, and I think a style that gives him the most problems is a guy that can outbox, like a Severa Luis. Who's Severa Luis, Mr. Boxing? The dude that he fought that I thought was a draw. It's on YouTube. Um, I think that gives him problems more than anything. A good jab in his face and some movement. Dillian White will put a good jab in your face, but he wants to throw. Like Dillian White wants to air it out. Let's not get it confused and take what he did in probably a round or two here and there against Dave Allen or some guys where he was kind of fighting on the back foot, or the Chisura where he have rounds or a round or two or segments where he will move, and he really wants to just slug. Let's just keep it a buck. He wants to slug. So he'll give Rivas plenty of opportunities to land his right hand and slip and counter. And I think his slip and counter game is better than Dillian White's, but Dillian White, dude just likes to air it out, man. And if you give him an opportunity to land that left hook. Now, when he throws that big left hook, and we were talking about this yesterday, I was talking about this in BFTB's chat. Sometimes he gets off. Damn, I'm gonna have to run, y'all. He gets off balance sometimes when he throws that left hook. I'm gonna have to end this here, man. I got some shit I gotta take care of. I appreciate all y'all showing up. I couldn't get to all the comments. I'm blowing up right now. Um, I'll try to be back later, man. But y'all be good, man. I gotta run though. I'm gone.